Good morning, viewers, and welcome to Today in the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Damlola Ogushaki, and I'm with my co-host
Precious Chukudi.
And of course, this is the Yuletide season. It's Christmas period. We officially entered the Yuletide season on the 21st of December. Though here in Nigeria, it starts from the 1st of December. But let me just ask Precious what she wants for Christmas.
Like on social media, a lot of people have been doing Dear Secret Santa, I want this and that. So I think I would say, Dear Secret Santa, I want money. That's the reason I want. Send me money for Christmas.
I think that's the same thing I would ask. I think it's money. Secret Santa, you're somewhere there, so we need money. It's always money for ladies. But away from that, let's look at what the front pages of the papers this morning is saying, and we'll start with the front page of Vanguard. And here on the front page of Vanguard, President Muhammadu Buhari says only God can oversee Nigeria and the Nigeria border. And the writer says Nigeria at risk of becoming a failed state. That's according to Financial Times. The report is right, Nigeria sinking fast, and that's according to Waneze. Meanwhile, Afenifere's reaction also says that Nigeria is a mess. Insecurity has become unbearable. That's according to PANDEF. OPS expressed a grave concern over Nigerian economy, says realities on ground frightening. And you can see the story and the writers on page 8. Meanwhile, on page 4, DSS says suicide bombers planning to strike during Yuletide. And also on page 13, we need to stop herdsmen from roaming around, and that's according to Garba Shehu. On the front page, we have a photo story of Nigerians as they throng the National Identity Management Commission's office in the Jimeta Yola for the National Identity Number registration in Adamawa State. And that takes us to the story on page 5. And here we have COVID-19, our health system can't be a major outbreak. And that's according to the federal government. Says healthcare system fragile. Pandemic will remain for some time. Buhari extends a PTF mandate till March 2021. Celebrate responsibly, save lives. NCDC pleads with Nigerians. Sanwo-Olu tax CDAs on fight against community spread. Fayemi tax pensioners on COVID-19 protocols. Osun rolls out new directives. And you can see this story on page 5. Now moving on to the stories above, on page 12 we have Olu of Warri Alive receiving medical attention, and that's according to what's come from the palace. Also here we have a federal government to shut down third mainland bridge for 72 hours from Saturday, partially closes the Lagos-Ibadan expressway for 48 hours. And lastly, on the front page of Vanguard, we have our investment inflow shakes all of COVID-19 impact, raises 1,480% in third quarter of 2020. And you can see that story on page 19. And from the front page of Vanguard, we move straight to the Punch newspaper.
And on the Punch newspaper, we have main story says Buhari under fire, says only God can police Nigeria, Niger borders. The writer says statement from Buhari, a commander-in-chief, shocking PDP. A president using God as a cover-up for his failures, says Northern Khan. Comment signifies loss of control, height of waywardness, Afenifere or Haneze. Stories above, we have SIM NIN linkage, applicants stranded as NIMC website crashes. You can see that on page 30. And on page 9, we negotiated Kankara schoolboys release through ex-bandits. Governor saying that one on page 8. DSS warns of plots to bomb churches, mosque, others. And lastly on the front page of the Punch newspaper, one dies in custom, Ogun communities youth clash. You can see that story on pages 4 and 5. Away from the Punch, we move straight to the Nation.
And now on the front page of the Nation, we have federal government intensifies a push for COVID-19 vaccines. Ministers, there will be no lockdown, travel ban not likely. And the statement here says closely associated is the need to speedily strategically assess and administer the COVID vaccine in a safe, effective, and timely manner. You can see this story on page 2. Capital Market puts public offers online. You can see that on page 3. And lastly, on the front page of The Nation, we have passengers of Abuja-bound bus abducted in Edo. You can see the story on page 2. And that's all we have on the front page of the papers this morning. We're going on a short break, and when we come back, our guest will be joining us via Zoom, to analyze this story. So stay with us, we'll be back.
You don't have all these things happening. There was a time in the immediate past when they happened daily, several times. You talked of one bombing within those 3 or 4 days. There was a time in this country when bombs went off like firecrackers every day. There could be 5, 6 bombings in one day. Now you can have 2, 3 months with no single case of bombing. Let's be thankful for small masses. Any masses we receive, let's be thankful for it. And let's not dwell on negatives alone. Life is taking the rough and the smooth together. So we see times when things go on for days, for weeks, with no negative development. Let us emphasize those ones. Not when you have 3 days, 4 days when they come together like that, and then you want to make it appear as if that is the constant in the country. We know that that is not the constant. There are challenges, they are there.
Alright, welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Today the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Danola Okunshaki, and I'm with my co-host. And we reviewed and looked at some of the front pages of the papers, and now we have a guest who's joining us via Zoom, and this is the person of Gberola Jigbe, Executive Director of Emergency and Risk Alert. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. It's a pleasure being with you.
Thank you.
And a compliment of the seasons.
Same to you, sir. Okay, let's go straight to what's on the front page, because of course people are talking about it, and it's something very interesting that of course I know you would like to talk about. But first, I want to ask for your opinion, what you think about what is coming from this reputable magazine, and that's Inflation Financial Times of London. It stated that the spate of it said that the spate of insecurity in Nigeria shows that Nigeria is no longer in control, and it says Ohanaeze agrees with this statement. Also, Pandef says insecurity has become unbearable. So, what do you think about this coming from this magazine?
Every indices of course that aptly capture what has been going on in Nigeria and what is actually going on in Nigeria. Every indices of state fragility, state failure, they are present in Nigeria. We just learned now that people going from Edo to Abuja were captured. Intense. Where do you get that type of news on daily basis? If not a state that is already failed, that is not in control. Where people is not being controlled by any leader. Almost all spaces in Nigeria are ungoverned. Whether it is northeast, whether it is southeast, whether it is southwest, whether it's northeast, every part of Nigeria, there is nowhere you can say that this space is a governed space in Nigeria. You have one crisis going on there, one trouble or the other. So the Financial Times is not out of point in capturing the situation of Nigeria like that. We have situated this severally, and of course, it's becoming more and more fragile. And of course, and if you look at the response from those who have responsibility to do this, ceding their responsibility to Almighty God, is baffling. It's shocking when you see this type of thing.
Okay, Mr. Gero. before you dive into that, let me just tell you, okay, what the president said, like what you're saying. So the president said that, only God can effectively supervise the 1,400 kilometer border between Nigeria and Niger. And let's not forget that, the president is the commander-in-chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces. And also, people have been linking this to other borders. We have that of the US and Mexico border, it's over 3,000 kilometers long. That's double the Nigerian border. Also the India-Pakistan border. And the president coming out to say this doesn't mean that, that the president have lost control of the border.
That is lamentation. Nigeria did not elect people to come and lament. The president was elected to perform. As a matter of fact, if Nigeria had wanted somebody that will grow through God in addressing their problem, Nigeria would have looked for imam or a pastor to elect, and not Mr. Muhammadu Buhari. So the election of Muhammadu Buhari imposes on him specific duty under Nigerian law and constitution. Let me quickly say, before you continue, before we allow them to escape with the lie they are pushing to God, the fact is that the most important, the most precious work that God did was the creation of human being. And even that responsibility, God has given it to man to perform. Is God still creating human being? So even the responsibility to bring life into this world has become part of man. After God created heaven and earth, he commanded man to go and possess, to go and have dominion. What the president is saying is pushing the work that Nigerians have given to him back to God. That is abdication of responsibility. That is putting Nigeria on autopilot. Is he now saying that God that have been protecting us, now that we have before we have all this upsurge of crisis, is God on leave? Is that what he's saying? Those that have done it in the past, so God was not in place that time, is that what he's saying? I think he should begin to accept his failure and begin to see Nigeria as a project that was delivered to him to manage. And if he cannot manage it, he better excuse the nation. This bloodletting is becoming extremely too much. Festival of blood is what you get out of Nigeria. Whether on the road, when you could see the lamentation of Governor of Borno State day before yesterday, lamentation from Edo, lamentation from Ondo, lamentation from Maiduguri, from Sokoto, from Zamfara. Every part of Nigeria has become ungoverned because of cluelessness, because of absolute irresponsibility, because of what it could not conceive as response plan for urgent and critical issue of violent crime, including extremism in Nigeria. So it should not. Did he put God in the manifesto when he was telling Nigeria that he's going to end insecurity? Did he put Nigeria in his manifesto when he said that he's going to stop corruption? Did he put Nigeria in his manifesto when he said he's going to rejig Nigeria economy so as to reposition Nigeria as a country every Nigerian will be proud of? These are issues. This is man that is absolutely not in charge of his duty, of his responsibility, even ability to conceive it, ability to accept the failure is scandalous. So I think it is unwarranted flattery to even say Nigeria that the president is not doing performing his responsibility. The correct capture is that Nigeria is not under any control because of the way the president has chosen to react to critical issue of life and death via insecurity, via conflict that is extremely violent, and even violent extremism across all nooks and crannies of Nigeria. So the statement is not accepted. The president should take his statement back and stop lying on God. Nigeria Constitution gave him job. He should perform the job and allow God to face other businesses across the world and heaven.
Okay, Mr. Gbero, Now you just talked about it and said that Nigeria is not, under any control, and we talked about some other borders that are really in control, even though they are double of the that of the kilometers border of Nigeria and Niger. But let's talk about what Nigerians have been saying. For a long time now, Nigerians have been saying that it seems that the security system and architecture of the country it has been overwhelmed. Now the president saying this, does it validate this statement?
Well, there's no no doubt they are overwhelmed. They are overwhelmed not because it's beyond man to perform. They are overwhelmed because they lack capacity to function in their respective offices. What is overwhelming Nigeria is incapacitation of those in places, inability to coordinate security, inability to conceive effective border management. Look, border management, like the one that you just open your border, the other one you close the border. While closing the border, you thought you were powerful, you could oppress your neighbor. That is not how to manage border. It's diplomatically and collectively whole. Nigerians have no separate border. You have border because there is other neighbor. You need to work with your neighbor to secure yourself. If you cannot defend your neighbor, if you cannot protect your own neighbor's border, you cannot defend your own. That is how it works. And let me drop something here. If you are having this challenge of insecurity, have you seen the federal government deliberately funding even intellectuals that have things to do, solution to offer on security, so that we could get out of this on time? And also, solutions have been drawn by citizens. Is the president making use of them before consulting God? Is the situation of a man, a boy and his father went to farm. The boy was carrying load. He was trying to carry load. He couldn't carry it. The first time, the second time, the third time he collapsed. The father now told him, make use of all the resources you have. He was telling the boy. He told the father, out of frustration, I've made all my power, I've expended all my energy, I couldn't carry this thing. The father said that he is part of your resources. Have you called me to help you? Even if you have capacity and you don't have enough resources, have you called order to assist and support you in solving a particular problem? You have not extended hand of fellowship to Nigeria. Rather, you begin to brush over all suggestions. Suggestion for ordinary what you can do without difference to constitution. Remove the security head, you don't remove them. Restructure, you don't restructure. Then you are lamenting. As a leader, lamentation is not a virtue.
All right, still talking about insecurity, Malam Garba Shehu has said that there is need to stop herdsmen from roaming all over the country to prevent clashes with farmers, and he also blamed the actions of the herdsmen on the drying of grazing land in the north. What do you think about this statement coming from Garba Shehu?
I take it with pinch of salt. You want to stop herdsmen from roaming about, then you are looking for grazing route across Nigeria. How does that work? Is it not conflictual? You are saying you want to stop that, and you are against what is going on in Benue State. Benue State deliberately put a law in place, a law that will encourage ranching. The federal government is absolutely against that law, which have created problem for the state. Rather than adopting such model and expanding it, you are now saying it with mouth that you want to stop. It's not by mouth. The other time they came with Ruga. That was supposed to be a sedimentary society. How do you now begin to segregate a specific group of Nigerians under the so-called Ruga policy, and you are that are not able to mix with Nigeria? Is that the intention of Nigerians' race towards unity, towards integration? How will that Ruga achieve that? I think the federal government should stop playing politics. The government is there. The government should govern and govern effectively, rather than stop putting Nigerians on arm's length. Politics, why should you tell us you want to stop this thing? Is it by mouth you stop it? It's by deliberate cooperation with every Nigeria and begin to evolve policy that is acceptable to all Nigerians and all stakeholders, policy that is adoptable in all states, all parts of Nigeria, and policy that is adaptable to situations and conditions and the context in which grazing, in which cattle rearing and roaming about could be curtailed.
Okay, Mr. Agbero, we're still talking about insecurities and all that. So, DSS, that the Department of State Service, has raised the alarm over the plot to bomb some places during Yuletide. Talking about during Yuletide, DSS says that Nigeria can, that they are taking adequate measures in place for protection of lives and property. Now, the question is, do you think Nigerians can actually trust DSS and other security agencies? Because, right now, there's a general sense of fear among Nigerians. They have to watch their back without putting their hope on any security agency.
Yes, Nigerians have been, it's not about even the DSS alone. Personally, there are levels I don't trust them. But when it comes to maybe giving public information, I wouldn't want that to be ignored. I don't trust DSS in a lot of respect. The first thing I teach in security, when I'm teaching people security, is that even though your enemy look like rat, treat them like a lion. So we have to take a lot of things serious. It might not be, the intelligence might not be correct, but you can't continue to sieve out intelligence on your own. The first thing is to preserve that it does not happen, to save our lives, for the larger population to be cautious and be careful, especially during the festive and the Yuletide season. So that is given, and that should be done. But that is not to say that DSS is absolutely correct, even though they are wrong. But since they have they have sent the alert, our own responsibility is to observe the alert and ensure that it doesn't happen. Someone on a platform said that, okay, that is their usual thing. Let us not accept it that we can't be careful enough in an environment of generalized violence, in an environment of generalized extreme insecurity. So I think we should equally support the alert and ensure that we don't put ourselves on harm's way. Okay. Whether by what we choose to do or where we choose to go, we should be extremely careful in all things we do, particularly at this time, whether in public places or in our home.
Okay, Mr. Agbero, before the president spoke about the borders and all that, in Castina, 17 people, including the head of Kaiga Malami, were kidnapped on Monday, and also in Kaduna State, 4 people sustained injury, while 7 persons also died. And we have that of the statement that came from Malami, from Lai Mohammed, that said that the difference between this administration and the former administration is that they were able to easily rescue the 344 Kankara students, while the other administration found it difficult to rescue the Chibok girls. And in talking about that, the rescue of the Kankara boys, we also had the former vice president that Lamido Sambo. He congratulated the president for safely releasing the student. Now, my question to you now, and what Nigerians are asking, is that self-congratulation and all that, do you think it's actually what they did now with some of the security things that were still going on? I mean, Monday, these things are.
I don't like people giving themselves cheap honor that disgraces the nation across all land you can think of. The smallest country in the world has no explanation to what is going on in Nigeria, and how government can be this fertile in their reaction to what the obvious failures of responsibility. Should students be kidnapped at all in the first place? We are not talking of a single person. We are talking of hundreds of pupils, hundreds of students kidnapped. Should that happen in a country? Have you had that type of history, even in the context of what? War of any nation? After 6 years, you should know that that government is absolutely a failure. If you are still measuring, if the barometer of measuring your success is the government that you defeated in election, if the government was performing, why did people not vote for that government? So why choosing after 6 years? You are still making comparative analysis using the yardsticks of the government, the previous government in power. That is absolute concession to failure. And if you look at the people saying this thing, these are people that they don't have words of their own, and I think honor is not cheap, and we should not deliberately confer that on those who don't deserve it. We are talking of people that, let me tell you, even in the same Castina, a day after the kidnap of the pupils, another set of Islamia students were kidnapped. So must we be living with this, and you rescue, you are clapping for yourself?
All right, Mr.
If you lose your money recklessly, you facilitated the crime. You lose your money and you eventually find the money. Are you now going to be congratulating yourself? You can be happy, but you have to be silent about your stupidity.
Mr. Bremer, okay, let's just move ahead and talk about COVID-19 now. With the second surge of COVID-19 going on, I have observed that there's an increase in the public's level of mistrust around the severity of COVID-19. Now, my question is, what do you think? What can we fault for the reason why people do not believe in this second surge of COVID?
How can people believe? I just posted something on social media today, and what I posted is that the government is now saying that they want to use 400 billion. That will lay the foundation of why people don't believe government. It was cited that it's going to use 400 billion to buy vaccine for Nigeria to be vaccinated against COVID, which I call COVID oil in my previous articles. Why I'm saying this, this is the same government that has been finding it difficult to use to fund university with just a quarter of that, 100 billion. That means that if government is able to fund university effectively, and one research-rooted university in Nigeria is able to develop vaccine, are we going to be wasting such money? So they are quick where they know that they have contracts to make, money to steal, corruption to cover, opportunity for corruption to thrive and explore. They will be happy at that. So, but in spite of that, my advice to Nigeria is that what we are getting from other areas, particularly United Kingdom, this variant of virus is brutally virulent, and Nigeria should see it that way. All the protocol should continue to be observed by Nigerians, and even beyond that, we should be more careful, because more death are being recorded across the world, and even in Nigeria there is spike in number of deaths that we are seeing these days, and most of them has been attributed to incidents of COVID. Nigeria should be more careful, should be more conscious of their health, and should be observant of protocol, so as to keep themselves alive. But for them to trust government is a huge challenge. Ask yourself, government is always excited when there is free money that will go into contract, like COVID vaccine, like this. If other nations have not people are making money from this, and they are lamenting over depression, recession here, because we are doing nothing. We don't see anything as opportunity. Even in the context of disaster, there are always opportunities to explore for a very focused leaders and focused state. You have opportunity to turn disaster into prospective prosperity for your people and for your nation. And
all
we have
right,
abandoned that.
You know, the national coordinator of the PTF, that's Dr. Sani Aliyu, he said that the country's health system is fragile and may not withstand the effect of a major outbreak of the pandemic. Now, you know, we've been hearing this, the health sector is really fragile and might not be able to withstand, you know, the second wave of the COVID-19 coming. My question is, how can we reform our health sector in these times?
Very simple. The first thing to do, if you see the Minister of Health visited at the threshold of this COVID outbreak, he visited most of the health facilities, and he was saying that he didn't know that it was like this. Even if we have to use that as benchmark, what have they put in place in terms of, look at, even to pay doctors allowances, hazard allowances, even in some cases salary, they are not doing it. In most cases, most doctors are on strike. Human capital development is essential to a forward-looking society. That can be done. Beyond that, what resources are they committed to health sector? It's scandalous to even hear. Yesterday, you know, there have been rumor that the first lady have relocated to Dubai. But somebody who represented her yesterday spoke that he didn't relocate, he didn't abandon Aso Rock. What happened was that he went for medical investigation. No. First lady of Nigeria. What is that telling you about the health condition in Nigeria, health care in Nigeria? What is that telling you about the infrastructure, health care infrastructure in Nigeria? We are talking of first lady, and we have Aso Rock Clinic where we budget hundreds of billions of naira for that place every year, and yet the first citizens cannot be treated there. You lead by example, whether it is in medical sector or health sector, any sector in Nigeria. As long as you don't have this and you don't capture that, you are not going anywhere. So the fragility in the health sector is not in the health sector alone. I have attested to the fragility in the state itself, the state of Nigeria. So if the foundation and the entire is like Gestalt theory, part is just like the part of the whole. If the whole is sick, the part cannot be well, and that is the situation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Aguero Lajube, Executive Director of Emergency and Risk Alert. Thanks for joining us this morning and sharing your thoughts with us.
It's a pleasure being with you. Thank you very much.
Yes, and Merry Christmas in advance.
Same to you and all your crew members.
Okay. Before we go, let's look at what our Mr. and Mrs. are saying this morning. And the first person speaking today is Mr. He says, my father of blessed memory had 10 wives and 16 mistresses. He thoroughly enjoyed himself before he died. May his soul rest in peace. Your Mrs. replied, 10 wives and 16 loose women. His soul is not gentle at all.
We're speaking about Solomon's protégé. 10 wives and what?
Lose 15, I think 16 loose women. Seriously, no. That's why I think
more like concubines.
You can really. That's what Mrs. replied, but you know, the mistresses and all that. I think that's why Mrs. is saying his soul was not gentle. No, but definitely
his soul wasn't.
It wasn't gentle. And that's all we have for you today in the news. You can always like and follow us on our social media platforms that are showing on your screen, or visit our website www.vanguardinja.com to get more of our top stories. Don't forget to also subscribe to our YouTube channel. And that ends it for us today in the news. My name is Damola Obushaki, and I'm with my co-host
Precious Chukuli. Thank you for watching,
and also thank you to our man at the back of the scene, and that's Tusi Wogu, the director. Thank you very much.
Ports face total shutdown nationwide. See page 5.
She overwhelmed by security challenges.
Hello
and welcome to Today in the News on Vanguard Live. Here on Today in the News,
we read and give in-depth analysis on some of the stories on the front pages of the paper.
Also take your insightful comments of what's going on here in Nigeria and across the world. Join us Mondays through to Friday
on Vanguard Live.